Okay, guys, you are live. Go ahead and start.
All right. So, happy Monday, everyone. As always, Joseph from MediaTek here with Dave Massey from SIRC. How are you doing today, Dave?
I'm doing okay. Had some technical difficulties, but got through them and doing great. Thanks.
All right, excellent. Um, yeah, I know there's a lot of questions everybody wants to get some answers to. Um, so yeah, let's just go straight through the list. I think everybody can hear you. Uh,
I would like to start with a statement if I could. I just want to let everyone know I really appreciate you guys getting on. I got the questions today about 11. I had a phone call today at 1:30 with about Arbiter Bank with 3 attorneys. I was hoping to get more of the answers that you guys needed in the meantime, but that call took almost an hour. So I will do the best I can. SRC used to be my little baby. I handled every single detail. Now we're a big firm and I have a lot of staff, so I don't have all the details on every single project or some of the accounting stuff. But if you guys like, I will find the answers for you and get them back to you.
all right.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, so let's just go down this list. So the current question up on the live stream. Can you explain in some detail how you plan to make the transition from fiscal year to calendar year?
That's a Wanda task, and I'm not sure the forms that need to be done, but we're going to file December with our last quarter, and our last quarter is going to be October, November, December, and that paperwork's being done, and we're going to start a new quarter January 1st. And the exact process, what she goes through to do that, and I don't know.
All right. Yeah, but it's in the works, so.
Yeah, it's being done. Absolutely. So when you guys see our filings on March 30th, we will have audited financials for 2020 and 2021 completed March 30th. I believe that might be another question.
All right, Elijah. There you go. Can you provide the latest revenue guidance for 2022 and an initial estimate or goal for 2023?
That's a moving target, and I'm not really supposed to get out my crystal ball. We said our last press release, we feel pretty strong about doing $100 million a quarter in 2022 when we get the acquisitions done. That has not happened. So I don't believe the first quarter will be that strong, but we have some very large projects, large acquisitions, a lot of things going on that number could change drastically. And same for 2023.
Anything specific you want to share with the acquisitions?
All of them have been announced. The Arbiter money is the key to everything to get all that going. And I'm sure we will discuss that at some point.
Yes, actually. So that's the next question on this list here. Has SIRC received the funds from the Arbiter loan?
It's so funny. I kind of scheduled the call. As I mentioned earlier, I had a call with Arbiter and my 2 attorneys and his 1 attorney at 1:30 my time here in California. And with hopes of, hey, the deal's done. We're getting wired this week. And that call took an hour because they had to explain all the processes they go to get an international bank going and all the problems with SWIFT and the problems with Ukraine. I got a history lesson over the last hour, but to make a long story short, the deal is real. It's going to happen. I asked him for worst possible case and best. He said best possible case could be 3 days. Worst possible case could be 30. So I'm still holding my breath.
I mean, that's still good news, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And they're going to be our partner bank. I mean, it's $42 million as a one step. If we need any other funding throughout the course of the life of SRC, they will fund us at a very great interest rate with excellent terms. And I mean, for us to get a $42 million loan at 4.5% for 10 years we have 1 year of deferred payments. We don't have to make any payments for the first year. Just great terms. I have a close personal relationship with Darren. He just keeps making promises that he can't keep. That's been making us look bad, but it's going to come through.
Yeah, I mean it's a crazy deal overall, and 3 to 30 days really isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things.
I think 30 days is, he really thinks it's going to be done by the end of March. He thinks that's a
Awesome.
good target. So we're 3 weeks away.
All right. Yeah, so let's move on. So some investors are concerned about the cash flow to meet daily operation needs, like paying for short-term liabilities, wages for employees. If you could just please let us know how much cash you have on hand in the bank and what the current account receivable amount as of today is.
I did check with Wanda when I saw that question. I came straight from her. We have about $1.5 million in the bank. Our receivables are about 42 million. Our cash is good. Arbiter Bank would make our growth much easier, but we do a lot of jobs with Future Home Power and their sales and Milholland. We knock out about $300,000 a day just with those. Cornerstone growing like crazy, so cash is good. Cash flow is not a problem.
All right, excellent. So the next question is about the crypto and the NFT side. So could you provide more clarity on like the crypto and NFT side of the business? Any strategy as a company when it comes to this NFT, and what's the general end goal for it?
I'm going to do the best I can. It's a little out of my realm of expertise, but he's actually presenting to the board tomorrow at the board meeting of how we're going to proceed. But what our goal is for instance, Lagos Island that we're doing. Well, we're doing a raise where people can fund the reggae with the crypto. And as we build the solar system in the Lagos Island, we will have a PPA that will generate cash, and that cash will go to the investors that, at least a piece of the cash will go to the investors that invested into the crypto side of things. All the details and how that works is again, I'm not in touch with those details that we have.
Gotcha. Yeah, no problem. So do you still have a relationship with Duchess Capital? And if so, in what capacity?
We don't. I end up losing faith in them. I felt like we're just getting stroked. Promises were made, nothing really happened. So we literally we never paid them. They never performed. It just we kind of end up going our separate ways.
All right. Yeah, I mean it's not like you really need it at this point. If 3 to 30 days, you're gonna be on point anyway. Okay, so we've got a list of things here. So Cornerstone, there's a bunch of numbers, dates, and approvals. So Cornerstone, Enerev, Milholland, McKay, Secure, and Montross. What's the status of forgiveness on applying? What's the status of forgiveness on applying for forgiveness on the following PPP loans for all of those listed?
All of those loans were issued at different times, and I know Laura and Wanda are working on it diligently. I think time has to lapse, and the process needs to be done, but it's being done diligently.
Okay. I mean, if we get Wanda on for something, I'm sure we can get a more detailed update on that.
Sure.
All right, excellent. Let's see. So, next question. Let's just move on to some sales related questions. Could you please tell us how much of the 48 million revenue came from residential solar projects versus commercial solar projects in Q3?
Our typical split between resi and commercial is about 70-30. Resi, 30% commercial. But Pablo's doing a good side on the commercial side. He's working hard to get that number up. Good chance in 2022 that it could be 50-50 by the end of the year.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, so that would be quite the jump. Can you give us any specific details on revenue generation from an outsourced project versus an in-house project?
I don't, we don't really have outsourced projects. We do most of the work ourselves, either our companies or our affiliates. So all the work is basically done by us.
All right. All right. Should we expect a net profitable quarter from now on moving forward, or do you think there will be times where the profit will significantly drop due to a lower season for solar/roofing?
I have a crystal ball question. Our goal always is to make money, and we anticipate doing so. We have a lot of pieces in place and a lot of profitable deals and a lot of things going on, but we always plan on making money. And
Sure.
our slow quarter is this coming quarter. That will probably be the worst quarter we'd see this year. And I'm pretty positive that we made money the first quarter.
All right. What's the specific reason for it being slow this coming quarter?
We have a lot of resi work, and it's the holidays, weather, tax time. Just
Gotcha.
I think the first quarter is slow for a lot of different businesses. I think retail is. I think restaurants are.
Yeah,
But in the construction world, I've owned a roofing company 30 years. First quarter has always been the worst. February has always been the worst month.
All right. Can you share some insight into the progress of these different projects, targeted start, completion, revenue data, etc.? There's too many projects to mention, but there's a few here listed. So the island, multiple farms, Callaway, Mojave, Chicken, Helixa, hotel, EV charging stations, etc.
Oh, that's production question. I'm not very involved in production. I know with these types of projects, there's a lot of planning and engineering that goes into those. I'm sure that's 4 or 5 months to get that done. All those projects themselves will probably start end of second quarter this year or first of third.
Okay.
Give me an idea.
I mean, that's good to hear.
Yeah, we have a ton of projects in the books.
Is there any other expansion from above, such as, more hotels from the ones you started, more farms, anything else interesting new project wise that's coming up?
I hear it again. I'm not in production, but I talk to Pablo a lot, and I hear that, hey, if we do these projects, we got another 300 chicken farms, and we got so many other schools. But are they signed contracts? No. So I don't really put a lot of faith in anything until we get signed contracts.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's fair. All right. Can you provide any info on the planned Solar Resi Holdings part of your business? Is there a specific geographic market you're targeting? And if not, will these holdings be in the higher end or the lower end areas of the given area you're targeting?
I don't understand the question, to be honest with you. I thought that question was more about the name changes and process. We've already applied with FINRA for the name change. So what we've done, instead of having 14 subsidiaries, we've taken SolarRev and made it different divisions. We're not going to buy new offices. We're going to use the offices that we have. So we'll have one in South Carolina, one in California, one in Texas, one in Indiana. So it's going to be where our subsidiaries are.
Perfect.
Is it going to be SolarRev? We're just going to change our model a little bit.
Gotcha. All right, so we'll get to something interesting. I see the chat's getting a little restless. So the uplist. What's the current status of the QB uplisting?
The QB uplist has been disappointing, to say the very least. We've been working hard at it. They had some questions about the goodwill on the balance sheet. They said with the audit being so close, they would like to get audit numbers for the QB uplist. So it's 20 days away. So when that happens, it's paid for. The application's done. I think when they see the audit done, the QB uplist should happen right away.
All right. All right. So yeah, in the February investor deck, in the February investor deck and management comments have stated since the date of March 2022 for the OTCQX uplist. Does this mean application submission in March or final approval in March? And what's your confidence of hitting the date?
We're going to probably skip the QX. my sole project has been working with investor banks on finding a bank to work with to get to the Nasdaq. We feel like timing is critical to get to the Nasdaq with our revenue and what's going on. I don't know how long the markets in the world are going to be stable. We sure don't want to miss that window and have the war and the inflation and everything take over the world out there, and we're trying to uplist in a downturn. So we're working diligently to get to the Nasdaq.
All right. The next question is kind of related to the QX as well, but do you foresee your previously announced plan to acquire 7 new companies altering the timetable when it comes to the planned uplist?
All the acquisitions are tied to the Arbiter funding. So we feel like when we get funded by Arbiter, these are vetted, the valuation has been put in place, and I think we'll probably do a acquisition once a week once we get funded from Arbiter. So when the funding starts, we've been on pause a little bit with that funding not taking place, but when the funding starts, the fund will start. Will really start growing at that time. I believe a couple of the acquisitions have kind of washed out, so I think we're down to 5.
Okay, excellent. So I just saw this roll through in the comments here. Do you see it being realistic hitting Nasdaq for 2023?
My gosh, we're looking at 4 months. The banks say we're interviewing 4 banks. We're going to pick one probably next week, and they say we can do it in 4 months. The audit will be done. We have a window we have to do it because we'll be doing acquisitions. That's one of the reasons we moved up our year end to December 30th, and so we can.
So you can take advantage of that.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
We're looking at 4th of July. We're looking at 4 months.
Wow.
And we think with Arbiter money and the acquisitions and buying back the shares, we'll get the stock price up to a point that we won't have to worry about doing a large reverse. I don't like to talk about stock price, but that is our plan, is to create some value in the next couple months. And so when we get to Nasdaq, the reverse will be
trying to avoid the reverse, or
it'd be nice to get to $4, but that would be quite the jump.
Yeah. All right, because I know people are obviously concerned with that. Okay, so yeah, you keep mentioning buying back the shares from notes that have already converted. Last time the majority of notes were converted in October with 3.5 million shares in late November. There are about 45 million in total. Why do you think they are not already sold on the open market?
Contact with the note holders. I know Tony still has some shares left. He doesn't have a lot left. Jefferson Capital definitely has some. We have we also had someone buy some restricted shares, about 10 million restricted shares. He's kind of been waiting for the Arbiter money to come in, and so we can buy those. We feel like we can get our hands on about 25 million shares. What I want people to understand is, I have a plan in place. My plan is to get to the Nasdaq, to be basically debt free, other than Arbiter money, and not to issue any more shares. That's my plan, and if I can do that, I think we will have a lot of success.
Yeah, it's excellent plan. So just to go back on this for a second, is that 4-month window that you mentioned earlier, is that affected at all by Arbiter?
It's really not.
All right. Okay, so let's keep going. With so many new and experienced board members, what plans may have changed from what was discussed on previous Q&As? Are you still planning on no reverse split? What about the QX at the end of March, Nasdaq? You've already touched on most of this, but if you want to just give a little something.
I think the big change, we kind of touched on it a little bit last time, is with Hector on board. He is excuse me. He is an expert on raising money for funds, and so we can fund our own PPAs and leases in the residential and commercial side of things. He's working diligently on it. So That's going to be our. Sorry, I had to walk outside.
Yeah, no problem.
He's working diligently on it. I think Q2 he'll have the fund in place, and we'll be able to start funding our own PPAs.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's the big expansion with the new board members.
Gotcha. Okay. Can you give an update on the roughly 4.8 million common shares owned by Granite Global per their convertible obligation due this March at 35 cents?
That is definitely on our radar of something we would want to buy back.
All right, excellent. So Q3 reflects 135. This is kind of a weird question, but Q3 reflects 135 shareholders on record. What qualifies as a shareholder on record for SIRC?
What qualifies as a shareholder on record? They would have to purchase shares of SRC stock. I don't believe there's a minimum number of shares to be a shareholder.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we only have 135 shareholders.
Yeah.
I think we have more than 135 people on these calls sometimes.
You're not wrong. Yeah, that question was All right. Well, could you provide clarity on how gifting 100 shares of SRC common stock to each share member of EMOR creates value for existing shareholders?
Sure. EMOR is our partner in all the government work. I work with Ian all the time. He's just now going to the Nasdaq. He's kind of a smaller company, but he has some great contacts with the DoD and United Nations, and he's bringing in contracts that are 100 million, 50 million, 25 million. There's a good chance he'll do $200 to $300 million this year. He's really, really growing. So our goal and our concept was kind of share our shareholder base, and so his shareholders get awareness of all the things we're doing, and our shareholders get awareness of everything he's doing.
All right. Do you have any idea how much cash it would take to remove the note holders and/or toxic debt from the share structure?
I think we've discussed it in the past. It's about $7 million.
Oh, okay. Excellent. That number hasn't changed at all.
No, we have not acquired any more debt.
Excellent. Good to hear. So if dilution is needed at some point in the future, would you consider a stock dividend to shareholders that have supported the company for X time, thus getting financing and benefiting long-term shareholders?
I got to be honest. I don't know how that works, but I've always thought it would be great to give our shareholders a dividend. One of our newest board members, Mike Falquist, his old company did that, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him about how it works, but I think it'd be great if we can give a dividend, because I think our profits are going to be so great, and our growth is going to be so great. I think we'll have plenty of extra cash that we could do that.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention if you're a dividend stock, I mean, you're much more attractive on the market.
Absolutely.
All right, so how many other warrants are outstanding? What are the terms, including the exercise price?
I don't believe we have any warrants outstanding.
Oh, excellent.
I think Jefferson has his, and he kind of snuck those by us and came out of nowhere. But they got triggered by another note. So it's the note business is a tricky business.
Yes.
But we don't have any more warrants out there. We do not plan on, like as I mentioned, issuing any more shares of stock until we get to the Nasdaq.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. I'm sure people are going to be amped to hear that.
I mean, with investors, we have some employees that have earned some shares, but that's it.
Yeah, that's to be expected. All right. So some PR and marketing questions. Can you update us on the 3 marketing firms competing for SIRC's business, and have you decided on a winner?
Yep, there were actually 4, and we got 4 presentations. Might have been the longest day of my life. Have you ever had 4 presentations from 4 marketing companies over 4 hours?
I have not.
I was poking my eyes out, but we haven't picked one, but one stood out as a crowd favorite, and it's kind of with the SolarRev name change and the Arbiter money. That's all part of the next phase of planning that we're doing. But there was definitely a favorite amongst all of us.
All right, excellent. So, does SIRC management plan to continue with limited engagement with shareholders on Discord, or can we expect to see you guys pop in from time to time? Or should we just expect the Q&A sessions to be the primary source of involvement going forward?
I don't know what they mean by pop in. You mean
Just
make
pop
a
in
comment?
and chat and make a comment.
I've actually done that. The attorneys don't really like it, so we got to be careful. But we like to engage and like keep everyone up to date. But the Q&As I think are the best. But I don't mind if there's something going on that get everyone filled in.
Yeah, I know you were in like a week or two ago when there was a couple questions, so that was appreciated.
Yeah, about the QB, that was a little frustrating.
All right. So is SRC aware of any organization/collaboration between solar companies to come together to create public TV ads, billboards, etc.? Or are there any other plans to increase advertising overall?
It's a two-part question. The first part of the question is no, I'm not aware of anything like that. The second part is we kind of talked about we're looking at that nationwide marketing firm that would be much more public type marketing that we would be doing to advertise SolarRev. So that is in play. Most of our marketing that we do is for actually company awareness in the public world, for stock awareness. For what we're doing publicly. We don't really do a lot of marketing on the private side. It seems like our projects and our workload seems so heavy that it's difficult to advertise because we can't keep up with the work we have.
Can you share what that marketing company does specifically in terms of marketing, or what their strategies are at all?
They're a really I would say a future-looking marketing company. They do a lot of digital stuff. He has some great ideas, but mainly digital stuff. He just not much on the TV side, but he would I hate to say it again, but again, it was all digital internet stuff that seemed like he had really good ideas.
Gotcha. All right, so let's go on to, obviously it was going to come up, so the Cornerstone/Hunter questions. Just regarding the Singh lawsuit, can you briefly explain to us what the latest rulings mean for SIRC? And do you have any expectations as to when this lawsuit will end?
Which one, Singh or Cornerstone?
Singh.
Yeah, I think they sued me and SRC. I'm personally out of it, and I've been removed from the lawsuit. My attorney says SRC is 80% out of it. I think the lawsuit is more Pablo's going after them instead of them coming after us. I think everything they tried to do to us has been squashed. And Pablo, I guess, is owed some money. He's trying to get that money.
Okay.
That's all I really know about it.
All right, but you're out of it.
Me, I'm personally out of it. They still have, they're still trying to keep SIRC into it. No one's really worried about it. It's all minor little chicken scratch stuff.
Well, that's good to hear. If you're not worried about it, then it probably isn't that big of an issue. So can you give us a status on Hunter's shares? Are they locked up? There's different information being discussed on Discord. It says, I understand lawyers don't like you talking about this kind of thing, but any clarity would be appreciated.
I believe everything I'm saying is all public. My attorney went to the judge and asked to move the date up to get a TRO in place, and she did not grant the moving up the date, but she did say there's no evidence of him trying to sell the shares. If we ever got evidence he was trying to get the shares, then I would give that to him. So they're currently tied up at the transfer agent. He cannot get them. And if he tries, they will notify us, we'll notify the attorney, and the TRO will go into place.
Okay, so there's no way he's gonna
There's no
offload his
way.
shares.
There's no
Okay.
way.
Well, that's good to hear. So some of the people who follow the company's history closely are curious about what Hunter did for SRC during his time with the company in the first half of 2021 after Cornerstone was acquired. Specifically, did he play any role to introduce SRC to Troy Clymer and balance claims? And is there any positive thing SRC did that it would not have done without Hunter's contributions?
It almost sounds like a question from Hunter. Yes, he did put us in touch with Troy. What Hunter really did, and the relationship with Cornerstone did, it gave us a couple really good guys on the team. We got Brad Barron, who used to work for Cornerstone, and we got Troy, obviously with Balance. Two great additions to our team. That's the biggest thing he's done. Since we've taken over Cornerstone, we've had a lot of success. I believe our sales are more than doubled since we bought them. Solar is going crazy. We did over $1 million last month in solar, I believe. I think I'm guessing at that number, and that's what I heard. So Arkansas and South Carolina, we've combined. We got rid of some offices that weren't making money. So we're turning Cornerstone around.
All right. Yeah. So it sounds more like you just got all of that from actually acquiring Cornerstone. It wasn't necessarily Hunter.
Yeah. After that acquisition, Hunter really he didn't really work for us. He had a CEO in place, Walker, who does a great job, and Walker basically said that now since Hunter's not around, I'm able to do things and make the company money, and I don't want to really go into Hunter, and I don't want to say bad things about him. But Walker was excited for his Walker was excited for his freedom to run the company without any other direction.
Gotcha. All right. So we could just move on to some quick miscellaneous little questions here. Get off the Cornerstone Hunter situation there.
I was not very happy when our last Q&A was so great and so positive, and then at the end, all everyone could talk about was the Cornerstone deal. That was a shame. But anyway,
all right. So
hopefully after this one, they'll be talking about Arbiter money and the Nasdaq uplist.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. All right. So when can we expect all of the acquired companies to reflect that they are SRC's companies on LinkedIn? Right now, it only shows you have 9 employees on LinkedIn. And just having all of these on LinkedIn under SRC would obviously show massive shareholder confidence and just bring value overall.
I think we got asked that question last time, and I will put it as a project and get someone on that so we can get it done next quarter for sure.
Gotcha. All right. So in the future, can we hear from Michael Falquist and Hector Pena at some point on their views of SRC's potential, the path forward for growth, challenges and strengths, why they joined the team, etc.?
Mike has already done an interview on TV. I know Greg is doing one now. Greg's doing one, I think, tomorrow. So absolutely, these guys are seasoned veterans, and we love to get them out in public and share with you what they share with us. They're great additions to the team.
All right, excellent. Yeah, I'm sure we'd be glad to hear from them if they could hop on a Q&A coming up. All right. So how was the International Roofing Expo early February? Any deals come out of that event at all?
I've been a roofing contractor 33 years. I've never been to that show.
No.
So
Okay.
Nothing's, I don't know if, I know Troy had a booth there, and he always has success, but I don't typically do those things.
All right. What about the Win the Storm event?
That Win the Storm event in Dallas was massive. Pablo and Troy were there. We found some great dealers. We signed up a lot of deals. I don't have the exact number, but we're excited to get Anthony on our team and have those guys under our SIRC umbrella.
All right. Anything else interesting happened with that, or?
It's a meet and greet and contacts, and the sales guys get there and they get names of contractors that they can sign up. But I don't have a revenue number or a dollar amount of how much we signed up, but it was a great success. Anthony puts out a great show. He's definitely the leader in the industry when it comes to putting on roofing shows and attracting the right contractors.
All right. All right. So the next one's kind of a long question. So SVG CEO Anthony Delmatico is a legend in the roofing industry, and Win the Storm is a major convention. In some ways, there are some parallels between this key strategic acquisition with Cornerstone, Hunter, RoofCon. Can you share how the prior experience with Cornerstone might have changed your approach to acquiring SVG? What, if anything, did you do differently?
It's night and day. Cornerstone was a storm chasing roofing company in South Carolina. Anthony is a very dynamic marketing guy, and he actually goes out and puts these seminars on, and he signs up other roofing contractors to join his network to build his business. He has about 200 sales teams under his network, and he has massive revenue. And I think Anthony is a genius, quite honestly. So it's night and day.
All right. Okay, question about Pablo. So Pablo was recently featured in a Proactive Investors interview where he used the term global when referring to SIRC. Can you share more details on SIRC's plan to scale globally?
That's kind of a big word. We're nationwide now. We have a little bit going on in Haiti. I don't know if that makes us global or not. Pablo does a great job of picking out words that gets people attention when he talks. But I don't know if we're quite global yet.
Right. So with the announcement of all the acquisitions, including 3 EV companies via LOIs, can you provide an estimate of which quarters you expect to close each of these acquisitions? And then there's a second part of the question. Will all acquisitions be cash deals, or will there be an adjustment in strategy considering the Arbiter delay?
Again, the Arbiter money is key, and we've discussed this. We're looking at closing a deal a week, and I don't know if they'll all be cash. Some of you guys like our low price stock, and so they can ride that stock up with us. But it will definitely be mostly cash.
All right. All right. Well, I think that's most of it. We got a couple of questions just on general, EV and generator questions and solar installations. So, have there been any updates to the partnership with the generator company?
They were kind of tied to Duchess. They were friends. I met them through Duchess, and so I haven't pursued either one.
Okay. And then just a quick EV question. So SRC being an installer of EV chargers, can you give us details on the manufacturer or manufacturers of the products available?
You bet. I actually did a little research for that question I saw, and I have a list here for you of what we're carrying. 1 second, I'll grab it for you.
Awesome.
We carry Clipper Creek, Juice Bar, SEMA Connect, ABB, Triton, and FSCO.
Wow, that's quite the list, huh?
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
the EV sector is really, really picking up. I think you saw in the press release we have 20 million in contracts and 30 million in the pipeline.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know it's definitely shooting up. I mean, have you seen the price of gas?
Yeah, the price of gas. I'm in Northern California now. It's $6 a gallon up here.
Oof, jeez, yeah. uh, okay, so just a single solar question here. So we currently have 186 sales teams who are selling residential solar, correct?
That sounds right.
All right. So would the next 200 sales teams from SVG be reselling residential solar as well?
Oh, I'm sure it will be about the same split, about 70-30 resi to commercial.
All right. Let me just look at this question. So I think we basically got through the whole, well, I mean, we did get through the whole list. There was a top 10 question list here. You basically did answer all of these. Do you have any update on the rebrand or name change? I think that's basically the last one.
Well, we've already discussed. SolarRev is filed with FINRA. We're hoping that the uplist and the name change happen at the same time. I just, it sounds like people are getting a little discouraged about us talking about doing a reverse split, and
Yes.
the again, our plan is get the Arbiter money, get the acquisitions done, get the shares buyback. Again, I can't control the stock price, but if we had to do one, it would be a small one. We would not do a big reverse split. But we just think we cannot get any value down here on the QB. We're trading about 80% of our revenue when everyone else is trading at 12, 13 times their revenue. So we think just that uplist should add so much more value.
Sure. Do you see a path to Nasdaq without a reverse split?
If we get some good traction, which I think we could, that's very, very possible. I mean, I don't like talking about stock price, but in 4 months, if someone told me, Dave, your stock price will be $2.50 in 4 months, that definitely wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have anything else you want to share or say, or just anything to close it up?
I don't think so. I just, again, I appreciate everyone getting on and getting the update, and things are very, very positive at SRC. I think you'll see that when we file the quarter. Getting the audits done and getting the uplist done are key to us, to what we're doing, and being the big boy company of funding our own PPAs. I don't know if you guys really know what that means, but when we have that fund, and once we sell that fund off, and then we have the revenue from that sits on our balance sheet, and we'll have a $200 to $300 million fund sitting on our balance sheet. So we'll be, I think, in the big boy category, not be looking at a little solar roofing company. Our goal is to be a solar EV microgrid fund company. I think that is where the value is.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you coming on and answering some of these questions. I know a bunch of them were not ideal, but people really wanted answers. We appreciate you just coming on and being honest and answering, to the best of your ability.
I actually enjoyed it. It's a little tough having the phone to my ear and
Yeah.
trying to do things, run around and answer the door and keep doing this, but it worked out, I think.
No, it was good. Thank you, Dave. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
All right. You enjoy the rest of your day.